Howdy, folks. Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. Time for another news video. This time, I found this little tidbit on rock, paper, shotgun. I always like to give the references for whoever I'm gathering info from. So, this is for No Man's Sky. This is a polarizing topic. A lot of people, myself included, had gigantic expectations originally for No Man's Sky. Then it came out. It was a disappointment. And I looked on my stats, and I played it for a grand total of about 16 and a half hours, which I think is probably indicative of what most people did. However, now having said that, today's video is going to talk about what they've done since. So, this is the fifth, this recent one, this called Frontiers, this recent update is called Frontiers, and it has added the ability to basically build a la like Minecraft type of a thing, and build settlements, that type of thing. And not only that, but then of course you could be the like mayor or overseer or whatever of that. And the problem that I have with that is that that speaks directly to me. That tickles my my creative bug. You know that hey, you could kind of just like customize and make your own world, you make your own city on this world and everything, and then other other travelers throughout the galaxy, if they find your planet, they could visit your settlement, etc. And that whole thing appeals to me. It's the reason why I have so many hours on Fallout 4. It's because of the settlement building. It's not because of the gameplay. It's not because of the story. You play through the story once or twice, you've done it, that's it. But I can always do new content with settlements. I can build new things and so forth. So this speaks to me. But the problem that I'm having with it, and I want to get your opinion on it, is that is it possible that this game is too big at this point to go back to, if you're one of the people like me who initially put in, say 16 or 20 hours or whatever into it, and then you decide, okay, I want to go back, and there's been 5 massive updates. Now, mind you, they've all been free. They have not charged a penny since release for any of this content, which brings me to another topic here in a minute. But is it too big at this point? Are you going to feel overwhelmed? That's my fear, is that I might go into this and just feel overwhelmed and just say, yeah, it's too much for me. I don't want to, invest that much time into it, because I know that if I do get into it, if I do get past that feeling of being overwhelmed, it could be one of those things where I could sink 1,000 hours into it, So I'm kind of torn on which way to go. Do I dive into it head first? Do I just avoid it for now and, hope that somehow they put some kind of catch-up mechanic or something like that in later, or who knows what it would take to get me to that point, where I could dive back in. So that's my personal conundrum. I don't know how you guys feel about it. One of the things people brought up, I keep looking over my notes, by the way, because I don't want to forget anything. One of the things that somebody brought up was that, as it pertains to the overwhelmed issue, is that this game has always had a very strict challenge when it comes to inventory space. Very strict. It's very difficult to manage your inventory, and it's extremely easy to get. You will get overwhelmed on inventory space, on not having any inventory space. And they haven't apparently done a whole lot to address that particular issue. Maybe they like having that challenge in there for people. That inventory management is a big challenge, and they like it that way. So that's another thing I saw people were saying. They were like, hey, I wanted to jump back in, but I jumped back in, and I was constantly running out of inventory space, and I didn't know what to do with all the resources I was gathering, etc. And then they ended up quitting again. So So anyway, so that is kind of getting you up to speed on where they're at now with this update and so forth. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was they've done these 5 massive updates. And they haven't charged for any of it. And as somebody else pointed out, the Hello Games that makes it, are they going to run out of money? Because as far as I know, they haven't put out any other games. They've just been putting in updates for this. And they've done an incredible job at trying to rebuild their reputation and rebuild the franchise and get people's trust back and so forth. And I'll give you an example of that. For the reviews on Steam, for all the reviews since it launched, is mixed. 69% are positive for the entire lifetime of the game. However, in the last 30 days, 92% are positive reviews in the last 30 days. Very positive. It's a very positive category, being at 92%. So that shows that they have done a great job at getting people's trust back and so forth. But are they due to put out another update and charge as DLC? And would anybody hold them any, what's the word I want to use here? Would anybody hold them in contempt for doing that? I mean, are people still going to hold a grudge about the initial purchase, and being disappointed and everything if they decide to put out a paid DLC? I think they should put a paid DLC at this point. They've done 5 massive updates. It's gotten to the game to the point where everybody's saying it's a whole different game and it's positive. I think they could charge. Now, because I would hate to see them after all of this, especially if I dove back into it and invested a bunch of time and then have them go under or something, So that's another issue to think about. The last thing I wanted to talk about regarding this is that my favorite game of all time is Star Wars Galaxies. And one of the reasons was exactly what this new update is doing for No Man's Sky. You could build cities on the planets in Star Wars Galaxies, and you could become the mayor of that city. And you could eventually, at a certain point, they added even shuttle ports and stuff like that, and you could build up like a metropolis. Basically, they had different stages of the cities. And you could build a metropolis, and you could have a mall with player vendors, and players could put their wares, their crafted wares on there and so forth. And if this does the same thing, that's why I'm saying that I'm torn, because that is my favorite game. Star Wars Galaxies is my favorite game of all time because of that gameplay feature. And if I was to dive into this and build up a metropolis, let's say, and have all this, and then have them go under and they can't do updates anymore, it just becomes a dead game or something, that would really suck. So, anyway, that's my spiel about No Man's Sky. Yeah, this was only put out on the 1st of September, this piece here. So, I believe that I know when this dropped. It was last week that this update dropped, because all of a sudden on Steam I got like 8 cards. You know how they have the trading cards in Steam? And I got 8 for No Man's Sky all at once, which means they probably added playing cards, trading cards, to the Steam store or to the Steam platform. And so because I had 16 hours or whatever, you automatically get a bunch of them or whatever. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about No Man's Sky. Did you play it? Are you still playing it? Did you stop after the initial release and then start up again? What's the hurdle if you do that? How is there the feeling of being overwhelmed, etc.? And specifically, if you played this newest update with this settlement building, give us our thoughts on that. So anyway, guys, I will catch you probably later tonight. I'm probably going to do a beer 30, and I got a whole nother topic to talk about. But we'll have a beer, and we can talk about that then. So, till then, we'll catch you guys on the flip side.